The massive space station hung in the darkness like a metal city. Nexus Station was bigger than most planets, built by 7 different alien races over 300 years. Ships from across the galaxy docked at its ports every day. Today, it would host the most important meeting in human history. Ambassador Tai-Ho Kim walked through the station's main corridor. His black suit was simple compared to the colorful robes and strange armor worn by the aliens around him. Behind him walked Dr. Hyjin Park carrying a small bag of data tablets. Captain Boram Lee followed them, her hand never far from her weapon. "Remember," Kim said quietly, "we are here to listen first." The meeting hall was enormous. A round table sat in the center, big enough for 50 beings. Representatives from 12 different alien species were already seated. Their translator devices hummed softly, turning their words into human language. The Vorthak delegate was the first to speak. His body looked like a giant octopus with gray skin. 8 thick tentacles moved slowly as he talked. "Humans," he said, "you have caused much trouble." Kim sat down calmly. "We are here to discuss peace." A laugh came from across the table. The Kalari representative was made of living crystal that changed colors when she moved. Right now, she glowed red with amusement. "Peace?" she said. "You took our systems. You built colonies where you do not belong." Dr. Park opened her tablet and began taking notes. She had studied these species for years. The tentacle movements of the Vorthak showed he thought humans were weak. The Kalari's color changes meant she saw them as children playing games. "Expanded into empty space," Kim replied. "We found no claims, no markers, no warnings." The oldest being at the table was High Chancellor Quinn of the Althari. His people had ruled parts of the galaxy for 10,000 years. He was tall and thin, with skin like old leather and eyes that glowed blue. When he spoke, everyone else became quiet. "Empty space," Quinn said slowly. "Young species, there is no empty space. Every star, every planet, every asteroid belongs to someone. The galaxy has rules. You must learn these rules." Captain Lee watched the aliens carefully. Her job was to protect the human team, but she also studied how they moved, how they breathed, where they might be weak. These beings thought they were in charge of everything. She had seen this attitude before. A new voice joined the conversation. The Drakmori delegate had 4 arms and scales like a snake. His name was General Vask, and his species was known for their military strength. "Humans fight well," he said. "But you are few. We are many." Kim nodded. "We do not wish to fight anyone." "Then, you will accept our terms," said Counselor Vex, another Vorthak. His tentacles moved faster now, showing excitement. "We have prepared a fair agreement." The terms appeared on screens around the table. Dr. Park read them quickly, her face staying calm even though the words made her angry. The aliens wanted humans to leave 12 star systems. They wanted humanity to pay taxes to the Galactic Council. They wanted human ships to carry Council observers. They wanted humans to ask permission before exploring new areas. "In return," Counselor Vex continued, "we will protect human worlds. We will allow limited trade. We will treat you as junior members of galactic civilization." The crystal being laughed again. "It is generous. Most new species get worse terms." Kim looked at each alien delegate. Some seemed bored, as if this meeting was not important. Others watched the humans like predators watching prey. All of them expected the humans to say yes. "These terms require careful study," Kim said finally. High Chancellor Quinn's eyes flashed brighter. "What is there to study? You agree, or you face the consequences?" "The consequences?" Captain Lee asked. It was the first time she had spoken. General Vask showed his teeth. They were sharp and yellow. "War, human. Your species against 12 others. How long do you think you would last?" Dr. Park continued taking notes. The aliens were not trying to hide their threats. They expected fear, but the human team showed no fear. This seemed to confuse some of the delegates. "We understand your position," Kim said, "but important decisions take time. We must return to Earth and discuss with our leaders." "How much time?" demanded Counselor Vex. As much time as we need. The meeting continued for 3 days. Each day the alien terms became worse. They demanded more systems. They wanted human military secrets. They insisted on placing alien bases on human worlds. Dr. Park noticed something interesting. The aliens kept offering things that humans did not want. Protection from enemies that did not exist. Trade deals that favored alien worlds. Membership in councils where humans would have no real voice. Captain Lee saw something else. The aliens had not done their homework. They knew human military strength from border fights, but they did not understand human thinking. They saw the human retreat from some battles and thought it meant weakness. They did not know it meant strategy. On the final day, Kim made his announcement. "We need time to consider your generous offer." The aliens looked surprised. Counselor, Vex's tentacles stopped moving completely. "Time," he said. "We have given you 3 days." 3 days is not enough for such important decisions, Kim replied. "We will return to Earth. We will discuss with our government. We will send you an answer." High Chancellor Quinn leaned forward. "How long?" "We will contact you when we are ready." The human team packed their things quickly. They had brought very little to the station, just basic supplies and their data tablets. Dr. Park finished her notes and closed her bag. Captain Lee checked her weapon one last time. As they walked toward their ship, aliens in the corridor stared at them. Some seemed angry. Others looked confused. A few appeared worried, though they tried to hide it. "Did we just make a mistake?" Dr. Park asked quietly. Kim smiled for the first time in days. "No, we just avoided one." Their ship was small compared to the alien vessels docked nearby. It had thick armor and powerful engines built for speed rather than comfort. As they prepared to leave, Captain Lee received a message from Earth. "Everything is ready," she told Kim. "Protocol 7 is active." Kim nodded. Protocol 7 was humanity's greatest secret. The aliens thought they were negotiating with a weak species that could be bullied into submission. They had no idea what humans had been preparing for the past year. The ship pulled away from Nexus Station and jumped to faster than light speed. Behind them, alien delegates argued about what the human response meant. Some thought the humans were scared and would return with acceptance of the terms. Others worried that something else was happening. High Chancellor Quinn sat alone in his quarters thinking. In 10,000 years, his people had made these same offers to hundreds of species. Most accepted immediately. A few tried to fight and were destroyed quickly. None had simply left to think about it. Humans were different, and that difference worried him. The human ship flew through space toward Earth, carrying 3 people who knew that everything was about to change. The real negotiations were not at Nexus Station. They were about to begin in the space between stars, where humanity would show the galaxy what they were really made of. Behind them, the aliens made their first mistake. They thought the humans had retreated. They were wrong. The blue marble of Earth grew larger on the ship's main screen. Ambassador Kim watched his home planet with mixed feelings. 3 days ago, he had left for peace talks with hope. Now he returned knowing that war might be coming. Earth Control. "This is Diplomatic 1 requesting priority landing," Captain Lee spoke into her headset. "Diplomatic 1, you are cleared for immediate descent. Landing pad 7 is prepared." Dr. Park looked up from her data tablets. "I have finished my analysis. The aliens expect complete surrender within 2 weeks." Kim nodded. He had expected this. The Galactic Council had used the same methods for thousands of years. Threaten a young species, offer terrible terms, and wait for them to accept out of fear. Their ship landed at the Colonial Administration Building in Geneva. The facility was busy with activity even though it was late at night. People moved quickly between buildings carrying boxes and equipment. Admiral Sujin Cho was waiting for them at the landing pad. She was a tall woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. Behind her stood Director Woo Sung-han and General Mi Young-song. "How bad?" Admiral Cho asked immediately. "Complete submission or war," Kim replied. "They want 12 systems, military observers, and tribute payments." General Song smiled coldly. Perfect, just like we planned. They walked quickly to the command center deep inside the building. The room was filled with screens showing star maps, ship movements, and colony reports. Hundreds of people worked at computer stations, coordinating the largest military operation in human history. "Show him the boards," Admiral Cho said. The main screen changed to show a map of human space. Green dots marked human colonies. Red lines showed alien positions, but there were also blue symbols that Kim did not recognize. "What are the blue marks?" he asked. Director Han stepped forward. "Project Haven. For the past year, we have been building hidden bases in every system we might lose. The aliens think they know where we are. They are wrong." Dr. Park studied the map with growing amazement. "There are 3 times more bases than I expected." "The colonial administration has been busy," Han said. "Every mining station, every research outpost, every fuel depot has been expanded and armed. The aliens will find surprises if they decide to attack." General Song pointed to another screen. "Phase 1 begins tomorrow. We start the Great Consolidation." Kim had heard about the consolidation in classified briefings, but seeing it in action was different. The plan was simple but massive. Human civilians would leave the border systems in organized groups. Essential personnel would remain in hidden facilities. Military forces would retreat to prepared positions. "The aliens will think we are running scared," Admiral Cho explained. "They will not realize we are getting ready to fight." Over the next week, the plan moved forward smoothly. Transport ships filled with families and workers left the outer colonies. News reports called it a temporary relocation for safety. The galaxy's news networks reported that humans were preparing to accept alien demands. Kim watched the reports from his office. Alien commentators laughed at human cowardice. Council delegates gave interviews about successful negotiations. High Chancellor Quinn appeared on several shows explaining how young species needed guidance. "They really believe their own lies," Dr. Park said, reading alien news feeds. But some aliens were asking questions. Intelligence reports showed that a few council members were worried about the human reaction. The Vorthak military was studying human colony movements more carefully. The Kalari trade networks noticed that human cargo ships had stopped using certain routes. "Let them wonder," General Song said during a morning briefing. "Confusion is our friend right now." The most important part of the plan was happening in space. Human military ships were not running away. They were moving to new positions, hidden bases that had been built in secret over many months. What looked like retreat was actually redeployment. Captain Lee now commanded a small fleet of patrol ships. Her job was to watch alien movements while staying invisible. Her ships used new stealth technology that made them very hard to detect. "Alien scout ships are mapping our old positions," she reported to Admiral Cho. "They think they know where all our forces are." "Good," the Admiral replied. "When they attack, they will aim at empty space." The consolidation continued for 3 weeks. 12 star systems that once housed millions of humans became nearly empty. Only military personnel remained, hidden in bases that looked like abandoned mining operations or broken space stations. Director Han coordinated the civilian evacuation personally. Every person who left the border worlds was given a new job in the inner systems. Families were kept together. No one was abandoned. "This is not defeat," he told worried colonists. "This is preparation." The hardest part was staying quiet about the real plan. Millions of humans knew something big was happening, but they did not know the details. Security was perfect. No alien spies learned about the hidden bases or the true strength of human forces. Kim spent his time preparing for the next phase. He wrote messages that would be sent to the Galactic Council when the time was right. Each message was carefully planned to achieve maximum effect. "We are not surrendering," he told his team. "We are teaching them the difference between submission and strategy." By the end of the 4th week, the transformation was complete. To outside observers, humanity looked defeated. Border systems were empty. Military forces had disappeared. Trade ships followed new routes that avoided alien space. But inside the colonial administration, everyone knew the truth. Humanity had never been stronger or better prepared. Every ship was in position. Every base was ready. Every person knew their job. Admiral Cho called a final meeting of the senior staff. The command center was quieter now, with most of the emergency coordination finished. Intelligence reports show the Council is planning their next move, she announced. They think we are broken and ready to accept any terms. How long before they act? Kim asked. 2 weeks, maybe less. They want to finish this quickly and move on to other business. General Song pulled up tactical displays showing alien fleet positions. They are gathering ships near our old border. 300 vessels from 6 different species. Against how many human ships? Dr. Park asked. Admiral Cho smiled. They think they outnumber us 10 to 1. Actually, we have twice as many ships. As they do. They just cannot see most of them. The meeting ended with final preparations for Phase 2. Soon, the aliens would make their move. When they did, they would discover what humans could really do when they stopped playing by other people's rules. Kim returned to his quarters and looked out at Earth's night sky. Somewhere up there, alien fleets were preparing for what they thought would be an easy victory. They expected to find scared humans begging for mercy. Instead, they would find something much more dangerous. They would find humans who had stopped caring what the galaxy thought about them. Humans who were ready to show the universe that some species could not be bullied into submission. The retreat was over. Soon it would be time for the aliens to learn what humans really meant by peace talks. Phase 2 was about to begin. Captain Boram Lee's stealth ship drifted silently through the asteroid field, watching the Council fleet gathering near Vega system. Through her sensors, she counted over 400 alien vessels from 8 different species. It was the largest military force assembled in this region for 50 years. They are serious this time, her communications officer reported. Intelligence intercepts show they plan to attack 3 human colonies simultaneously. Lee smiled coldly. The aliens thought they were looking at helpless targets. They had no idea what was really waiting for them. 18 months had passed since the failed peace talks. The galactic economy was collapsing. Trade routes that had operated smoothly for centuries now took weeks longer and cost twice as much. Entire sectors were experiencing shortages of basic supplies. On Earth, Ambassador Kim sat in his command center deep beneath the Colonial Administration building. The room buzzed with activity as his staff monitored Council communications from across the galaxy. Every alien message was intercepted, decoded, and analyzed. Admiral Cho needs to see this, said Dr. Park, handing him a datapad. Her xenobiology expertise had proved invaluable for understanding alien psychology. Council morale is breaking down faster than we expected. The report contained intercepted messages between Council worlds. Vorthak industrial colonies were demanding protection from their government. Kalari crystal farms were shutting down without human-maintained quantum relays. Even proud Althari worlds were quietly asking when normal trade would resume. They still think this is about economics, Kim observed. They do not understand that we have moved beyond their system entirely. Admiral Cho entered the command center, her uniform showing signs of long days coordinating humanity's greatest military project. Behind her walked General Song, carrying tactical displays that showed the true scope of human preparations. Council intelligence believes we have 37 military vessels, General Song reported with amusement. Our actual strength is 215 ships plus defensive platforms they cannot detect. The aliens had made a critical error in their assessment of human capabilities. They counted only the ships they could see, not understanding that humans had spent 18 months building the most advanced stealth fleet in galactic history. Director Han joined the meeting, bringing reports from the civilian evacuation zones. The last families have been relocated from the border systems. All non-essential personnel are now in secure areas. What about our assets in Council space? Kim asked, still in position and undetected. When this starts, we will have real-time intelligence on their every move. Humanity's greatest advantage was not military strength, but information. Human traders, engineers, and diplomats had worked throughout Council territory for decades. Many had chosen to remain in their positions, becoming a vast intelligence network that alien security services never suspected. Dr. Park studied the latest psychological profiles of council leaders. High Chancellor Quinn is under enormous pressure from his own people. 3 Althari worlds have formally requested emergency economic aid. That has not happened in their recorded history. Good, Kim replied. Fear makes people make mistakes. The council's plan was predictable. They would attack 3 human colonies that appeared lightly defended, expecting quick victories to restore their authority. These victories would prove to the galaxy that humans could be beaten, hopefully encouraging other species to maintain their loyalty to the council. What they did not know was that those colonies were traps. Captain Lee transmitted her final intelligence report before moving her ship to a safer observation position. The council fleet was dividing into 3 attack groups, just as human planners had predicted. All units, this is command. Admiral Cho's voice carried across secure channels to hidden human forces throughout the region. Council forces are moving to attack positions. Execute Revelation Protocol in 6 hours. Revelation Protocol was humanity's master plan. For 18 months, they had allowed the galaxy to believe humans were weak and scattered. Soon, the truth would be revealed in the most dramatic way possible. General Song coordinated the final preparations from her war room on Earth. Screens showed the positions of every human ship and base within 200 light-years. What looked like empty space to alien sensors was actually filled with hidden weapons and waiting soldiers. Phase 1. Bases report ready, her staff announced. All stealth systems are functioning normally. Enemy forces show no awareness of our true positions. The 3 targeted colonies appeared defenseless. A few cargo ships moved between orbital stations. Mining operations continued as normal. Civilian communications carried routine messages about weather and local news. But beneath the surface, each colony was a fortress. Underground bunkers housed thousands of soldiers and advanced weapons systems. Orbital platforms disguised as commercial stations carried ship-killing missiles. Even the mining equipment could be converted to military use within minutes. Kim reviewed the message he would send to the council once the fighting began. Every word had been carefully chosen to achieve maximum psychological impact. Dr. Park, your analysis of their expected reactions? She consulted her notes about alien psychology. Shock, followed by anger, then growing fear as they realized the scope of their miscalculation. Vorthak will blame their intelligence services. Kalari will demand immediate withdrawal. Althari will begin questioning Quinn's leadership. And then? Panic. They will try to negotiate from a position of weakness, something their culture has never prepared them for. The hours passed slowly as both sides made final preparations. Council forces moved confidently toward their targets, expecting easy victories. Human forces remained hidden, waiting for the perfect moment to spring their trap. Captain Lee positioned her ship where she could observe all 3 battle zones. Her mission was to record everything for later analysis. The galaxy would need to see what happened when someone underestimated humanity. All human forces, this is Admiral Cho. The enemy has crossed the line of no return. All units are authorized to engage when fired upon. Show them what we really are. The first shots came at dawn on New Geneva Colony. A Drakmori battleship fired on what appeared to be a helpless mining station. The station's shields absorbed the blast easily, then revealed its true nature by launching a swarm of guided missiles. Similar scenes played out at the other 2 colonies. Cargo ships dropped their disguises and became fighters. Mining platforms converted to weapons batteries. Underground bunkers opened to release defensive squadrons. But the real shock came when the rest of the human fleet revealed itself. Ships appeared from nowhere, dropping stealth fields that had made them invisible. Bases that sensors had missed began broadcasting targeting data. The 3 defenseless colonies were suddenly supported by the largest human military force ever assembled. Admiral Cho's voice carried across all frequencies, speaking to both human and alien forces. Council, fleet, you are surrounded. We have you outgunned 3-1. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. The council commanders could not believe their sensors. Where had all these ships come from? How had humans hidden such a massive fleet? General Vask, commanding the main attack force, tried to rally his ships. It is a trick, Continue the attack. But his captains were already reporting impossible odds. Human ships were everywhere, using weapons and tactics that alien intelligence had never seen before. What was supposed to be a quick victory had become a potential disaster. Kim's message reached the council chambers within minutes. High Chancellor Quinn read it with growing horror. You wanted us gone from 12 systems. We left 12 systems. You wanted our military limited. We showed you exactly what you could detect. You wanted us to accept tributary status. We stopped trading with you entirely. We gave you exactly what you demanded. Now you will learn what you actually asked for. The battle lasted only 4 hours. Outgunned and outmaneuvered, the Council fleet retreated with heavy losses. No human ships were destroyed, though several suffered minor damage. But the real damage was to Council authority. News of their defeat spread across the galaxy within days. Species that had feared Council power for centuries suddenly realized that the mighty alliance could be beaten. Economic collapse accelerated as more worlds questioned whether the Council could protect trade or maintain order. Some species began making independent contact with human colonies, hoping to restore the commercial relationships they had lost. High Chancellor Quinn sat alone in his chambers, reading damage reports and economic projections. The Council faced its worst crisis in thousands of years, and it was all because they had misunderstood one small species. Humans had not retreated in fear. They had withdrawn in preparation. They had not hidden in shame. They had positioned themselves for victory. And now the galaxy was learning what humans meant when they talked about peace. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council had not seen this much activity in decades. Representatives from 12 species filled their seats, arguing loudly about the growing problems in their territories. High Chancellor Quinn called for order, but the debates continued. The Kepler trade route is completely dead, announced Councillor Zex, a Vorthak whose tentacles writhed with frustration. No human ships have used it in 6 weeks. Economic Advisor Zenth stepped forward. The Kalari's crystal body flickered between blue and red as she processed data. The situation is worse than we thought. Human withdrawal has affected 47 different supply chains. Impossible, scoffed General Vask. They are just one small species. Zenth's colors shifted to bright yellow, showing her irritation. Small species that handled 30% of intersystem cargo transport. Their ships were fast, cheap, and reliable. Without them, shipping costs have doubled. The problems had started small. A few delayed deliveries here and there. Some trade, routes taking longer than usual. But as weeks passed, the issues grew larger. Factories on Vorthak worlds could not get raw materials. Kalari crystal farms lacked essential nutrients. Even the ancient Althari were experiencing shortages. Where are they? Demanded Councillor Vex. Our scouts report that human border systems are nearly empty, but their inner worlds show no increase in population. Intelligence Chief Naran, a 4-armed Drakmori, consulted his datapad. Human civilian ships have been detected moving toward their core systems, but in smaller numbers than expected. We estimate 3 million people have relocated, but 12 systems should have held at least 20 million humans. High Chancellor Quinn studied the reports with growing concern. In his 10,000 years of life, he had never seen anything like this. Species usually responded to council pressure in predictable ways. They either submitted quickly or fought desperately before being crushed. Perhaps they are hiding in asteroid fields or space stations, suggested Councillor Zex. Or perhaps they are preparing for something else, said a new voice. Everyone turned to look at Ambassador Thek, representing the Zurani collective. His species rarely spoke during council meetings, preferring to observe and analyze. When they did speak, others listened. Explain, Quinn commanded. Thek's insect-like features remained calm. Human behavior does not match standard patterns. They withdrew too quickly and too completely. Their military forces disappeared without engaging our scouts. This suggests planning, not panic. Planning for what? Asked General Vask. Unknown. But consider this. Humans have not contacted us since leaving Nexus Station. No pleas for mercy, no requests for new negotiations, no attempts to improve their position. They have simply vanished. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Every other species had begged for better terms or threatened revenge before accepting council authority. Humans had done neither. Economic advisor Zenth's colors shifted to deep purple, indicating serious worry. Our analysis shows that human integration into galactic commerce was deeper than anyone realized. They did not just transport goods, they maintained critical infrastructure across multiple sectors. "Show us," Quinn ordered. The chamber's main screen displayed a complex web of trade routes connecting thousands of worlds. Red lines showed routes that were now disrupted or abandoned. Nearly half the network was highlighted in red. Humans controlled key junction systems, Zenth explained. Their bases provided fuel, repairs, and navigation services for ships from dozens of species. Without them, travel times have increased by 40% in some regions. Counselor Vex's tentacles coiled tightly. "This is temporary. Other species can take over these functions." "At much higher cost," Zenth replied. Human efficiency was remarkable. Their automated systems required minimal maintenance. Their fuel was processed to higher purity standards. Their repair facilities could service any type of ship. The economic data grew worse each day. 3 Kalari manufacturing worlds had shut down production due to supply shortages. Vorthak merchants reported massive losses as cargo deliveries fell behind schedule. Even military supplies were affected, with some council fleets experiencing logistical difficulties. "This cannot continue," declared General Vask. "We must force them back to work." "How?" asked Ambassador Thek quietly. "We cannot find them." Intelligence reports from human space painted a confusing picture. The 12 border systems were indeed nearly empty, but long-range sensors detected no massive population movements to other areas. Human ships were spotted occasionally, but they did not respond to communication attempts. Most disturbing were reports from remaining human colonies. Alien visitors were allowed to land and conduct business, but the humans acted as if their guests did not exist. They provided services when paid but offered no conversation, no friendship, no cooperation beyond basic commercial needs. "It is like they have stopped caring about galactic civilization," reported one Vorthak trader. "They treat us like nothing." High Chancellor Quinn found this behavior more troubling than any military threat. The Council's power came from being the center of galactic culture, trade, and politics. If humans simply ignored that authority, it set a dangerous precedent for other species. "Send another delegation to Earth," he ordered. "Offer them improved terms." But the human government politely declined to meet. Their message was brief. "We are still considering your previous offer. We will contact you when ready." Weeks passed with no change. The economic crisis deepened as more worlds experienced shortages. Some council members began questioning whether forcing the humans away had been wise. Councillor Zex called an emergency session after receiving reports from his home world. 3 of our industrial colonies are operating at half capacity. Profits are down 60% this quarter. The Kalari Collective is experiencing similar problems, admitted Zenth. Our crystal networks depend on quantum relays that humans maintained. Without their technical support, we are losing efficiency across 5 star systems. Even the proud Althari were struggling. Their ancient empire had grown comfortable with human logistics support. Now vital supplies took weeks instead of days to reach their worlds. "Perhaps," suggested Ambassador Thek carefully, "we underestimated their importance to our economic system." General Vask slammed his 4 fists on the table. "They are just merchants and mechanics. We are warriors and rulers. Warriors need supplies," Thek replied calmly. "Rulers need subjects. What good is authority over empty space?" High Chancellor Quinn studied intelligence reports about human activities. Their remaining colonies were clearly busy with some kind of construction projects. Massive amounts of materials were being moved and processed. Energy readings suggested major industrial operations. "What are they building?" he wondered aloud. Intelligence Chief Naran had no answer. Human security had become impenetrable since their withdrawal from the peace talks. No alien spies had successfully infiltrated their facilities. All communications were encrypted with unbreakable codes. Whatever it is, Naran reported, they are working around the clock. Production levels in human space have actually increased since they abandoned the border systems. This news sent a chill through the chamber. If humans were not hiding in fear, if they were actually building something, then the Council's entire strategy might be wrong. Send a fleet to investigate, ordered General Vask. Which fleet? Asked Counselor Vex. Half our ships are dealing with supply problems or protecting trade routes that humans use to patrol. The Council faced a growing realization that their galaxy was more dependent on one small species than anyone had imagined. Without humans, trade slowed, costs increased, and coordination between worlds became difficult. But perhaps most troubling was the silence. Humans had not threatened revenge or promised to return. They had simply disappeared into their own space, leaving the galaxy to discover how much it needed them. High Chancellor Quinn looked at the economic reports again. Red numbers showed losses in the trillions of credits. Production delays affected hundreds of worlds, and it was getting worse every day. For the first time in 10,000 years, he began to wonder if the Council had made a serious mistake. Contact. Earth again, he ordered quietly. Tell them we are willing to discuss new terms. But deep in his ancient heart, he suspected it might already be too late. The humans had stopped caring about Council authority. Soon, the galaxy might learn what that really meant. The news reached every corner of the galaxy within hours. The mighty Galactic Council fleet, 400 ships strong, had been defeated by a species they considered primitive. Videos of the battle spread through communication networks, showing human ships appearing from nowhere and alien vessels retreating in disorder. On Earth, Admiral Sujin Cho stood before the largest gathering of human military leaders in history. Representatives from every colony, every fleet, every defense platform filled the auditorium. For the first time since the crisis began, she allowed herself to smile. Ladies and gentlemen, we have sent a message that will be heard across the galaxy. No species is too small to defend itself. No bully is too big to face consequences. The cheers lasted for several minutes, but Admiral Cho knew the real work was just beginning. Defeating the Council fleet was only the first step in reshaping humanity's relationship with the galaxy. High Chancellor Quinn called an emergency session of the Galactic Council. The ancient chamber had never seen such chaos. Representatives shouted at each other in languages that translation systems struggled to process. Some demanded immediate revenge against humanity. Others called for Quinn's removal from leadership. Order, Quinn commanded, his voice carrying the authority of 10,000 years. We must analyze what happened and plan our response. Intelligence Chief Naran presented his findings with obvious reluctance. Human military capability was underestimated by a factor of 6. They possess advanced stealth technology that our sensors cannot detect. Their ship designs are unknown to our databases. Their tactics suggest extensive preparation and planning. How is this possible? Demanded General Vask, his forearms gesturing angrily. Our intelligence services monitor every species in the galaxy. Apparently not, said Ambassador Thek quietly. The Zurani representative had been warning about human unpredictability for months. We saw what they wanted us to see. Economic Advisor Zenth's crystal form flickered with deep purple worry as she presented her latest reports. The defeat has accelerated the economic crisis. 17 worlds have formally requested permission to trade directly with human colonies. 3 species are threatening to withdraw from Council membership. The chamber fell silent. Council membership. Withdrawals had not happened in over 2,000 years. Counselor Vex's tentacles writhed with frustration. We cannot allow this precedent. If humans can defeat us and face no consequences, other species will think they can do the same. What consequences can we impose? Asked Thek. Our fleet is damaged. Our economy is failing. Our authority is questioned. What power do we actually have? It was a question that no one wanted to answer. Meanwhile, Captain Bo-Ram Lee was conducting the most important mission of her career. Her stealth ship had been modified with the most advanced communication equipment humanity could build. Her target was not a military base or alien colony. She was going to address the entire galaxy. "This is Captain Lee of the Human Colonial Defense Force. Transmitting on all frequencies," she began. Her message would reach billions of beings across thousands of worlds. For 18 months, humanity has been absent from galactic affairs, while we considered the Galactic Council's demands for our submission. The transmission continued for 20 minutes. Lee explained humanity's withdrawal, the Council's economic dependence on human services, and the recent military defeat. But most importantly, she made an offer. To all species listening to this broadcast, humanity is ready to resume our role in galactic commerce and cooperation. But we will do so as equals, not as subjects. Any world that wishes to trade with human colonies may contact us directly. We offer fair prices, reliable service, and respect for your independence. The message sent shockwaves through Council space. Within days, dozens of worlds had contacted human colonies to resume trade relationships. Others sent diplomatic missions to negotiate new agreements. The Council's monopoly on galactic politics was breaking apart. Dr. Hyejin Park monitored alien communications from her analysis center on Earth. The psychological impact of recent events was even greater than humanity had hoped. "Fear is spreading through Council leadership," she reported to Ambassador Kim. "They are receiving pressure from their own populations to find a solution. Some are beginning to blame each other for the crisis." Kim nodded as he reviewed diplomatic messages from across the galaxy. The most interesting ones came from species that had never contacted humanity before. Small worlds that had been ignored by the Council were reaching out, hoping to establish independent relationships. The galaxy is realizing that the Council system is not the only way to organize interstellar civilization, Kim observed. Director Woo Sung-han was coordinating humanity's response to the flood of trade requests. Every human colony was working at maximum capacity to meet demand from worlds that had been cut off from efficient commerce for months. "We need to be careful," he warned during a senior staff meeting. "Success could make us overconfident. The Council still has significant military power." General Mi Young-song agreed. "Our victory was impressive, but it was also a defensive action in carefully chosen territory. A full-scale war would be much more difficult." But Admiral Cho had been studying the intelligence reports from across Council space. "I do not think they want a full-scale war. Their internal problems are growing every day. Half their member worlds are questioning Council policies." She was right. The Council faced the worst political crisis in its history. Ancient alliances were being questioned. Economic systems that had operated for centuries were failing. Some species were openly discussing the benefits of independence from Council authority. High Chancellor Quinn met privately with his closest advisors. The weight of 10,000 years of leadership was showing in his ancient features. "Our ancestors built this council to prevent chaos and warfare between species," he said, slowly. "Now we have become the cause of both." "What do you propose?" asked his chief aide. Quinn stared out at the stars visible from his chamber. "Perhaps it is time to consider that our methods no longer work in a changing galaxy." The final blow to Council authority came from an unexpected source. The Kalari Collective, one of the founding members of the Council, announced its intention to negotiate independent trade agreements with humanity and other species. "The Council system has failed to adapt to modern galactic commerce," their representative declared. "We must pursue our own interests." Within weeks, 3 more founding members made similar announcements. The 1,000-year-old alliance was dissolving, and everyone knew why. Humanity had shown that the Council could be defied successfully. More importantly, they had demonstrated that galactic civilization could function without Council control. Ambassador Kim prepared for the most important speech of his career. The message would be transmitted to every world in known space, formally, announcing humanity's position in the new galactic order. "Citizens of the galaxy," he began. 18 months ago, humanity was asked to choose between submission and war. We chose a third option, independence. We withdrew from a system that treated us as subjects and built our own path forward. He paused, knowing that beings across 1,000 worlds were listening. Today, we offer that same choice to every species. You can remain under systems that limit your freedom, or you can join us in building something better. A galaxy where species cooperate as equals, where trade benefits everyone, and where no single authority can dictate terms to others. The response was overwhelming. Within a month, over 200 worlds had established direct diplomatic relations with humanity. Dozens of species announced their withdrawal from Council membership. New trade networks formed, connecting worlds that had been separated by Council policies for centuries. High Chancellor Quinn made his final appearance before the Council chambers. Only half the seats were occupied. The rest represented species that had chosen independence over authority. "The age of the Galactic Council is ending," he announced quietly. "We tried to rule through fear and tradition. Humanity has shown the galaxy that there are other ways." He stood slowly, his ancient bones protesting the movement. "I hereby dissolve the Galactic Council as a governing body. Member worlds are free to pursue their own destinies." Captain Lee received the news while patrolling the former border between human and Council space. The boundary no longer existed. Ships from dozens of species moved freely through systems that had once been restricted or contested. Admiral Cho stood on the bridge of her flagship, watching cargo vessels carry goods between worlds that had been enemies just months before. "We did not just win a war," she told her staff. "We changed the entire galaxy." Dr. Park published her final report on the crisis, analyzing how one species had transformed interstellar politics through strategic patience and careful planning. Her conclusion was simple. Humanity succeeded because we refused to accept that the galaxy had only two choices: submit or fight. We created a third option: independence. Ambassador Kim returned to his office on Earth, where he found a message waiting from an unexpected source. High Chancellor Quinn, no longer leading the Council, had sent a personal note. "Ambassador Kim," it read, "in 10,000 years of life I have seen civilizations rise and fall. I have watched species conquer and be conquered.